Carolina Panthers. Who's drafting these guys? What is going on? Welcome to the SB Fantasy Football Podcast with your pals Alan and Rapid Dave. I'm Rapid Dave.
And I'm Alan.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
You know what? Just living the dream, brother. We're going to talk a little fantasy football,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't heard of this before, so we'll give it a try.
I
We're
was
talking
just glad
about
I
the
said
Hulk,
fantasy
right?
football instead of baseball.
What's that?
I said I was just glad I said fantasy football, not baseball.
Yeah, well, you got that going for you, which is nice.
It's been a day.
Yeah. So we're talking Carolina Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
And are you drafting anybody there? Like,
Yeah.
is there anybody there that's worth a damn? I don't know. You want to start the quarterback position?
The quarterback player, man. Yeah, we can. Bryce Young, he finished 23rd last year, scored you 156 points. Right now, though, he's like essentially being drafted way low. Like his ADP is like 171, QB 28. Like he's only going to get drafted in super flex leagues.
Yeah, or teams with Carolina Panther fans. Maybe an OU fan. I don't know.
I don't see many of those guys being left around and just wanting more pain. So yeah, no, I don't see. He's a tier 10 guy. There's so many other options. Like I said, you're only drafting this guy if you're in a super flex league. But at that point, I'm still not drafting him. He doesn't score enough points. Yeah, this is his second year, but I don't see enough improvement from any. There's nothing. I mean, yeah, they added Deontay Johnson. They have Adam Thielen. Chuba Hubbard's still the running back there, but the offensive line's still not that great. Yeah, they're going to be down, so he's going to have to keep slinging it, but he's so little, and it really is quite strange. Like he was 101, wasn't he, last year? Carolina took him 101?
Yeah. No, he was 101. But I mean, they did add some tools around him, right? And we're going to get into those tools second year. We'll see, but I mean, he's not someone I'm drafting as my starter. If I'm drafting him as a starter, I don't know what went wrong. Okay, I have no idea what went wrong because that's just not a good thing.
I mean,
right?
Even in 16-team, mega leagues, you're not drafting. Like I said, the only way he gets drafted. You know what's crazy? Kirk Cousins got hurt last year, and he finished barely above him. Kirk Cousins only played 8 games.
Yeah, but it was a real strong 8 games. Real strong.
It was. Kirk Cousins, man. What did I call him? Kirk O'Chains? Kirk O'Chains, man. I'm more excited to talk about him.
Well, we're not talking about the Falcons today. We'll talk about them on another day. But let's jump into the running back position because I think this is a little bit of an interesting position because they drafted Jonathan Brooks, recovering from the ACL injury. So we'll see when he's going to be ready to come back. Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders, Rashad Penny. You've got a bunch of names there. Is there anybody there at a certain point in time that you're looking at?
I mean, not really. When you take a look at these, who's here? Yeah, they have Chuba Hubbard first. Miles Sanders is third. Jonathan Brooks is second. He's ahead of Miles Sanders right now, and I just can't trust any of them. Chuba Hubbard's he's getting drafted about 135th. That's his average ADP, his rankings, if you want to call it that. He's RB 42. There's no way that I can take any type of chance. I don't even know where Miles Sanders is, like a RB 54. Buddy.
Yeah, he finished 56 last year.
Yeah.
Chuba finished 27 last year. I think for me with this team, I think the value is possibly in my dynasty leagues with Jonathan Brooks in my dynasty leagues. Maybe maybe take a flyer on a Chuba or Miles late, maybe in a dynasty league, I need a roster filler guy that might be able to do something this year. But for the most part, no, I'm kind of staying away from it. I did think it was kind of interesting that they just signed Rashad Penny not that long ago. So I think that might have something to say about either their belief in Chuba or Miles or how long they think Jonathan Brooks is going to be out.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of crowded running backs, or that when the depth chart gets that crazy, and it's like that with Miami running backs. You don't know you might get 1 or 2 awesome weeks, but it's just too crowded. You don't know who's going to get the touchdowns. Obviously, I think Chuba's going to be the starter out there. Can he give you fantasy value? Yeah, maybe. I mean, but running back, he's running back 26 last year, like you said. He's not really. Everybody's got him ranked so low now that where you're not draft. He might not even be drafted. I mean, I'm sure he won't. Right.
Yeah, and these are guys that you might look at in season when injuries start happening, right?
Oh yeah.
Maybe Chuba gets hurt, and Rashad Penny comes in. Then Rashad Penny gets hurt. Then Miles Austin comes in, or not Miles Austin, Miles Sanders.
Miles Austin.
Um,
That would be interesting.
right? He might be
Out of
better than most
nowhere.
running backs, right? But for me, there's just nobody there that I'm really drafting, and I think all the value on this team right now is going to be with the wide receivers. Honestly, you've got they got Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen's back for more, um, and they drafted Xavier Leggett as well, which he should be all right, but I mean, you're looking at an ADP as far as wide receivers are being concerned. He's like the number 66 wide receiver off the board,
Yeah.
right? Maybe more of like a dynasty type move with Xavier Leggett, picking him up in your dynasty leagues when you're in your rookie rounds.
Yeah. I mean, he's the lowest ranked out of all three of them. Deontay Johnson, he's around 76. Adam Thielen's 145, but I think I'd rather have Adam Thielen anyways. Out of not out, excluding Xavier Leggett. I'm talking about Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen because I'm not going to pay that, you know, Deontay Johnson price. And I know that Thielen's going to get his touch if I'm strapped. I'm talking bye week hell. Yeah, I'm putting in Adam Thielen in my flex position or something.
Well, if you're in a league that does like three wide receivers, right? He was wide receiver number 29 last year.
Mhm.
So if you're looking at a three wide receiver league, and let's just say you just have 10 teams, he's in your top 33 where he should be starting for a team.
Yeah.
So he's definitely got to take later, but I don't know that he's going to start to have that drop off. He's 33. Um, Wide receivers, running backs, they all start to kind of dip at that age 30, right? Running backs maybe a little bit earlier than that, but especially your wide receivers at 30. Um, had a strong year last year, but now you're also adding a little bit more around him. There wasn't anybody else there other than him last year. So with Deontay Johnson there, now Deontay Johnson
Wasn't
does
Chark there
drop
last
off.
year?
Yeah, he was hurt though.
Oh, he
Chark
did get
Chark
hurt.
was hurt. He was hurt a lot. He started the year on the injured list,
Okay.
so he didn't come in until later in the year. But Deontay Johnson will drop the ball a lot on you, right?
Yeah.
And when you've got a young quarterback who's trying to build some trust with guys, if you're going to drop the ball on him, he's not going to go to you. So maybe look for Xavier Leggett to carve out a spot on this roster. But again, I think the only guy that if I need a wide receiver, it would be Adam Thielen.
Yeah. And I mean, he
Okay.
should get the red zone targets as well. You know what I mean? And he
Yep.
did do quite well last year when it came to that. He wasn't the guy, ripping off 40-yard receptions or anything like that. He was the guy that got you touchdowns, moved
Yep.
down the field like 10 yards or whatever. So, and, like you said, these guys regress after a certain amount of time. And he's still kind of going strong. He's
Yeah.
not wore out. There's not a lot of miles on that ass of his. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Especially there those last few years there in Minnesota, he wasn't the guy, right? He was
third
the
string.
second guy, right?
Second,
Because
third.
you had Justin Jefferson there. So,
Mhm.
and then we go to the tight end position where you've got a few guys here that you got the rookie out of Texas, Jatavian Sanders, which
Mhm.
you're hearing some good things about him. Again, that's going to be more of a dynasty move, I think, drafting him. And then you got guys that you've picked up from time to time to cover a bye week for you, right? And Tommy Trimble and Ian Thomas.
Yeah.
But I mean, outside of again, you're looking at dynasty value with Jatavian, and the other guys they're not going to be drafted. They're going to be maybe if someone's hurt, and they're going to be starting that week, and they've got a good matchup, possibly.
Yeah.
But other than that, nothing.
I mean, currently Jatavian is behind Tommy Tremble right now, and Tremble's like ranked like 456. You know what I mean? But you know who's going to start, right? It's going to be the kid. Sanders will, they'll get him in after. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't start, out there, and we'll see how training camp goes and whatnot. But he'd be the only one. Obviously, I'm interested in. Ian Thomas is a name that flashes every so often, just on a random week, but it's usually after someone's hurt.
Yep.
He's always readily available on the waiver wire, but you just got to be, you know aware of it, and what it is. There's a word for it, but it escapes me right now. But yeah, I mean, I'm more on the rookie, and especially in dynasty, like you said, he'd be the guy for me.
Yeah, and I think that's the majority of the value that's with the Panthers right now is in your dynasty leagues, where you're drafting your rookies, where you get your young guys and you can kind of stash them on your roster. You got some teams, we're in a dynasty league where your rookies can go onto a practice squad, right? So they're not taking up your salary cap room or taking up a roster room, and you can just kind of put them there and just say, hey, you just chill, buddy. You just sit here and watch. But for the most part, I mean, there's just nothing with the Panthers. I mean, now they could completely surprise us and come out of nowhere, and Bryce Young could, you know, really take a big step forward. But just keep your eyes on it. But I wouldn't
Yeah.
draft him. Just let him
I
sit
mean,
there.
like I said, I'm drafting Adam Thielen. I think if I need a wide receiver three, but Deontay Johnson, he can show you some flashes. He gets his hands under control and starts catching things. Catch the football, man, because I know you can do it. Because he's got some ups. He can jump up over somebody, and he's
Right.
fast. But
Yeah, but he drops.
yeah, he's
And
got those drops, man. And like I said, we were talking about Bryce Young had been his second year. Maybe we'll see some improvement. Most times they come in, they're really hot their first year because there's not a lot of tape on them from the professional level, obviously. And in the second year, they get brought back down to earth. Well, his first year was not great. So
not great.
maybe
Bad team though, too, right?
yes,
You
yeah.
got a whole new coaching staff there. So we'll see what happens. But for right now, just don't worry. They're not going anywhere. They'll be there if they start to do good.
Yeah, most of them, yeah, except for
Yep.
Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen will both be drafted in your leagues for sure. But yeah, as far as the other guys, no, they'll be
Yeah.
there.
Jonathan Brooks will be drafted.
You think
He
so?
will be drafted. I think so. I think he definitely will be. Um,
And
I'm
in a
not.
redraft read or league or you talking
Yeah,
dynasty?
someone will take a flyer on him late. Yeah,
Okay.
he's a guy who's got potential. And if you're set on the running back position, in your first few rounds, and you're sitting there like around your last pick, and you're like, hey, why not? Right? Um, could win a league for you. So
What the hell was that? Something
nothing, man.
just chimed a couple times. I don't know what it was on my computer. I go, "What was that?" Oh, yeah. Well,
But did we just completely get the Carolina Panthers wrong, or are they awesome? Let us know, guys. But thanks for watching. We appreciate you. Hit that like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend. As always, I'm Alan.
I'm RD.
Talk to you later. Deuces.